A man was cleaning a long closed pool when he noticed something strange clogging the drain. He reached in, probing deeper, but suddenly his hand was cut. At the same time, a large amount of black water gushed out, emitting a foul odor. Feeling uneasy, Jack quickly called in an expert to inspect the situation. After conducting a thorough investigation, the expert explained that the drain might have connected to an underground water source. He added that not only was this underground water of excellent quality, but it also had some mystical properties. Hearing this, the family of four was overjoyed. A week later, the pool was officially put to use, but misfortune soon followed. After finishing her work, Anna decided to take a swim. However, the family cat suddenly ran over, frantically meowing. Anna didn't think much of it and continued swimming at full speed to relieve stress. As she turned to take a breath, she saw Jack standing by the pool. But when she surfaced and looked again, there was no one in sight. Confused, she wondered if she had simply imagined it. Just then, the lights around the pool began flickering on and off. Terrified, she swam desperately to the edge of the pool as fast as she could. But by the time she reached the side, the lights had returned to normal. She rushed back home and asked Jack if he had been by the pool earlier. He told her he had been sleeping the whole time. Anna felt a chill run down her spine. Later that night, as they slept, the pool lights started flickering again. The cat had just jumped onto the diving board when a toy boat emerged from the water, moving by itself. The cat, alarmed, took a defensive stance. The next morning, Anna's son discovered that his beloved cat was missing. Strangely, floating on the surface of the pool was the cat's collar, which it had always worn. The man looked at his right palm. Even though he had cut it while cleaning the pool the day before, it had now completely healed, without leaving a single scar. He stared out at the pool through this window, lost in thought. Not long after, Jack went to the hospital for a follow-up on his health. When the results came in, both Jack and the doctors were stunned. The hospital staff said they had never seen anyone recover so quickly in such a short amount of time. Jack was, in fact, a professional baseball player, but unfortunately, he had been injured during a game. After this health check, Jack became convinced that the pool somehow had healing properties. One day, Jack's son was playing in the pool by himself. As he dove underwater to retrieve a coin, he suddenly heard the voice of an unfamiliar girl. After surfacing, he followed the sound toward the pool's drain. The girl introduced herself as Belle and said she was looking for her mother. She told him that she had found Carl's toy and asked him to reach in and grab it. But the moment Carl pulled out the toy, a pair of hands suddenly shot out and grabbed him. Carl barely escaped and immediately told Anna about the incident. She quickly went to Jack to talk about it, but Jack dismissed it, thinking it was just a prank from some mischievous neighbor kid. One day, while Anna and Jack were out, their daughter Mary invited her boyfriend over to play in the pool. As the two were playing, Mary was startled by a terrifying sight. A strange old man with white hair suddenly appeared. Panicking, Mary rushed out of the pool and frantically described what she had seen to her boyfriend. He shrugged it off, thinking it was just her imagination. In an effort to help the kids settle into their new school, Anna organized a pool party, inviting classmates and neighbors. During the party, Anna asked the real estate agent about something that had been bothering her. Why had the pool been abandoned for 15 years? The agent revealed that a girl had drowned in the pool long ago, and that girl's name was Belle, the same name Carl had mentioned to Anna. Meanwhile, Jack and the kids were playing in the pool, unaware of the danger that was creeping in. Suddenly, black water surged up from the drain and began to enter Jack's body, taking control of him. His hands started moving involuntarily, leading the children step by step toward the deep end of the pool. A man forcibly bought a peculiar coffee table, which eventually led to the tragic death of his family of 3. After 6 years of marriage, he had tolerated his wife for 10, but today he decided to stand his ground. No matter what, he was determined to take this uniquely designed coffee table home. The salesman mentioned that the glass on the table was unbreakable, stronger even than some marriages. Jack, hearing this, declared that even if it led to divorce, he had to have it. His wife, who was usually the decision maker, stormed off, pushing their baby stroller in frustration. In the end, Jack successfully brought the coffee table home. As Jack was assembling the table, he noticed that the glass top wasn't stable. He checked the instruction manual and realized that a screw was missing. He propped the glass up at an angle and called the salesman, asking him to send the missing screw. Jack proudly placed the unusual coffee table in the center of the living room, right where everyone could see it. His wife, however, was not pleased. Not only had he bought it without consulting her, but now he hadn't even asked where she wanted to put it. Jack brought up the fact that he never had any say in decisions. This was the first time in 10 years he'd made a choice, and it was about the coffee table. His wife was furious, but then she remembered something important. Relatives were coming over later. She told Jack she needed to go buy groceries and insisted he take good care of the baby. No sooner had she left than the baby began to cry. Jack quickly picked up the baby, trying to calm him down, and began pacing around the living room to soothe him. Proud of the new coffee table, he couldn't help but show it off, talking about how excited he was to finally make a decision. But as he walked, he tripped over some tools on the floor and fell. The sound of shattering glass filled the room, and the baby's cries abruptly stopped. Unaware of the tragedy unfolding at home, his wife was at the supermarket, browsing for wine. Little did she know what had just happened. She even ran into an old friend she hadn't seen in years. From their conversation, it became clear that she and Jack had gone through extensive treatment just to have their child. This baby was her world. The man saw his wife already starting up the stairs, so he rushed to the balcony, ready to end his life. But the sound of his wife knocking on the door pulled him back from the brink. Nervously, Jack opened the door for her. His wife immediately questioned why he had hung up the phone earlier and why it had taken him so long to answer the door. Jack lied, saying he had been busy calming their crying baby and had just managed to get the baby to sleep right before answering the door. He asked her not to go into the bedroom, fearing she might wake the baby again. This seemed to ease his wife's concerns. Jack then confessed that the glass on the coffee table had shattered. His wife laughed, teasing him, saying it was karma for defying her. Without suspecting anything, she walked into the house. But when she noticed bloodstains on the carpet, she was startled. Jack quickly reached out his hand, explaining that he had cut himself and that the blood was his. After checking on him briefly, she began mocking Jack again. As they prepared food for their guests, his wife couldn't help but burst into uncontrollable laughter now and then, clearly enjoying the fact that Jack had faced such immediate consequences for ignoring her wishes. Every word his wife said seemed to dig deeper into Jack's heart. Then, she suggested checking on the baby and retrieving the baby monitor. Jack's heart raced. If she went into the room, she would discover the truth. Gripped by panic, he tightened his hold on the kitchen knife. Just as she was about to reach the crib, Jack stopped her, saying he had worked hard to get the baby to sleep, and that she should relax and focus on preparing lunch. He promised to take care of the baby. Still wanting to keep an eye on the baby, his wife asked Jack to bring the baby monitor into the kitchen so they could hear any sounds. While they were preparing lunch, she suddenly heard the sound of dripping water through the monitor. Concerned, she wondered if there was a leak in the baby's room and suggested going to check, but Jack quickly stopped it. Lacking the courage to confess the truth, Jack lied, saying the monitor must be malfunctioning. But what he didn't expect was